Hello everybody and welcome back to Ethiopia. This is a new play session, so let's go ahead and take a look around here, see if we find anything that we missed last time. We do have a rebel uprising coming up. They are going to be spawning in Mukalla and or Zabid. Zabid is here. Development of 8. Mukalla is here, development of 5. Either way, we have this army relatively close. We could potentially move them into Taze. I'm not sure there's any real reason to do that. We're still 1 province away here and 2 here, so I think either way it's going to be roughly the same there. Some of our subjects are still kind of angry, but I did notice that we no longer have too many diplomatic reputations, too many diplomatic relations. We are currently at 5 out of 5, so we're not losing diplo points there. We can invest in these 2 new ideas. It's probably a terrible idea, though, because we're currently behind time in tech. We're also pretty far in debt, and we have a lot of corruption. We have probably a sufficiently strong military right now to dissuade people from attacking us. So let's go ahead and root out corruption a little stronger here. Maybe up to about there, where we're still earning about a ducat a month. That would be good. Our inflation is going up, barely. We do need to work on our economic ideas to deal with that. That is something for the future, though, so we will not be investing in either of these ideas. Our innovativeness is decreasing. Yep, that is because our tech is currently slightly behind. We'll deal with that. We have some angry people. Hejaz, Dawasir, and Mara are all in a coalition against us, so that should be interesting. We are, however, very, very close to being able to annex Warsangali. They currently have plus 90 improved relations, so we would need to increase them by about, let's see, that would be 15 more. We could theoretically subsidize that. That would cost a fair amount of money. We could also send them a gift. That would also cost a fair amount of money. We have a few options over there. Subsidies is probably the cheapest way to do it, although it's more long-term expense. And we are pretty badly positioned for the long term. So I think we need to not make any more long-term poor decisions. We are also currently low on legitimacy. Our previous heir had a weak claim. So that's going to be exciting. So let's just go ahead and unpause and... Hey, Hejaz left the military coalition. We no longer have a military coalition against us. Excellent. Okay. So, they're still kind of angry, but that's okay. Diplomatic tech can go up. Excellent. We're still pretty far behind times here in Diplotech, so we're going to keep focusing on that as best we can. We could hire an advisor, but that would wipe out all gains we're getting financially, which would probably not be for the best. Hypothetically, if we were to demothball this fleet, could we actually make a profit with it? Let's see, we could. 0.83 in the Indus trade node. Let's go ahead and do that. They'll repair themselves. They won't make a profit for a while, because they're going to need to repair themselves up. But we did get a wave of obscurantism. As a typical response to different kinds of problems, obscurantism was a frequent behavior in most nations at least until the Age of Enlightenment rose in the most advanced Western nations of the European continent. Knowledge is power, plus 2 national unrest, or ignorance is bliss, lose 10 prestige. Let's keep the prestige, we'll take the unrest, we're going to be rebel busting for a while. This is basically the chill zone. So, let's go ahead and do that. We're also going to be annexing Warsangali as soon as we can, which it will be a little while before that'll be a possibility. Our admiralty is corrupt. Those who command our ships in battle or are sent to explore lands to be claimed by the Nagusa Nagast should be chosen from the bravest and wisest in our navy. This is not the case today. From their very first day on a ship, sailors see money illicitly changing hands and protocol being broken as a matter of course, and quickly learned that both the letter and the spirit of the law carry a little weight in Ethiopia when silver is put on the other pan of the scales. Those who do not learn quickly make enemies. To advance through the ranks of the Ethiopian Navy, you need to learn to play this system, and those who rise to the top are rarely those we wished would be there. No wonder we have mutinies. Yet another bad event from our corruption. We need to keep working on bringing that down every year. Which we are. Eventually it'll come down. That's one of the reasons why we're chilling right now. Our colony in Ogaden is just about done, so that'll be good. Once that's live, we will, of course, have access to these slaves to sell to Europeans, presumably. Slaves are not in particularly high demand quite yet, but they will be an important resource later. Warsangali, we can go ahead and recall the diplomat that was making friends with them right now. And we are just so close. We need 14 points. What could we do? Do we have any subject interactions that would actually make them happy? We could grant them a province. Maybe Habyo? Liberty Desire will decrease. I don't think that will give them any opinion of us. They don't have any debt. Yeah, I don't think that would do anything. We can pass the Blasphemy Act, actually. That would be nice. Missionary strength, plus 1%. Declare blasphemy a common law and thereby make it a legal offense to show contempt or ridicule, to show contempt for or ridicule God, Jesus, or the Holy Scriptures in any form or way. That is definitely in keeping with my belief system. Let's pass that. Purely for the missionary bonus. Get this finished a lot faster that way. Yeah, we're doing okay there. Renewed some of our loans. That'll hurt our inflation even more than our inflation is already hurting. So that will be exciting. We also have a lot of provincial unrest. Habyo separatists are going to be revolting as well. And we don't really have an army down there to handle them. What could we do about this? We don't really want to take this long-term hit, and besides, we can't actually increase autonomy down here. Okay, we'll just have to take those rebellions as they come. Our colony in Ogaden is self-sustaining. That is very good. We'll go ahead and build one out here in hopes of discovering this province. And we'll make them a full core rather than a territorial, since they're already part of a state. And Warsangali is currently at 176 still. They'll go up by 1.2 yearly. How much would it actually cost to send them a gift? Gifts cannot be smaller than 25 gold. Okay. Well, we'll just wait until we have that. We're actually making quite a lot right now. Let's go ahead and root out a little bit more corruption. Down to about plus 2 ducats a month. There we go. Minus 0.28 per year, not 28. That would be great if we were losing 28 corruption per year. I would love that. Alas, it is not to be. Burghers are very unhappy, as happens with burghers. Speaking of which, can we poke our estates for anything? Looks like not particularly. We could raise levies. We have lots of manpower, though. That would actually put us at the cap. We don't really want to do that. We'll keep this around for a rainy day. We are now losing money. Excellent. Let's see here. We'll lower that back down to about half a ducat. And we actually have the gold now to potentially send a gift to Warsangali. That is good enough. That's all we need. Okay. We will start annexing them immediately. Well, in 20 April. That's when our next diplomat can get there. So we will go ahead and do that right about now. There we go. How long will that actually take? Uses 0 a month. Excellent. Minus 3 diplomatic reputation. Well, that'll come back up eventually. For now, though, we'll just get that going. He'll keep working at that for a good long time. Yemeni separatists will pop any day now. Hobyo still are at least 2 months away. And we died. Our legitimacy is back. This guy has a strong claim. He has terrible stats. His tutors could not make a great man out of him, though we hope ruling our great nation will. These are awful stats. Okay. Our heir is slightly better than us. Well, with any luck, yeah, we're losing, or rather, we're not gaining nearly as much as we were in terms of power. That's going to hurt significantly. We are already a bit behind on tech. Our institution's penalty is not helping that. We could theoretically embrace Renaissance. That's an interesting option. We would go further into debt, but it might be worthwhile. How many loans would this take? 176. Okay, that would be not too bad. We are negative stability. We should go ahead and boost that first, so that we're at least at 0. Just because that means we'll pay less interest. Okay, let's go ahead and do this. We're going to be losing a bit of money. There we go. Do all that. Now we can embrace Renaissance, and so we shall. Minus 50% to tech costs. That's going to be a big deal. Yeah, we're much, much closer now to embracing our tech. We can embrace a naval doctrine, but we definitely need to try to repay a loan if we can. We currently cannot. Our interest is quite high. We'll go ahead and root out less corruption, since we can actually adjust that. There we go. So we now have the Renaissance Institution. We now only have the 20% tech penalty, and we're now actually a great power. The rest of the world shall tremble at the sound of our might, and the glory of Ethiopia shall soar above the horizons far and wide. New diplomatic actions are available. Excellent! How good are we? We are actually better than England. Ooh, and these guys finally popped. Excellent. We'll go ahead and crush them right there, and then we'll walk these guys down to Ogaden so that they can deal with this potential rebellion. Okay, we will go ahead and keep making money because we want to be paying off these loans ASAP. So we'll pay some of these as soon as we can, which will be a couple more months before we can pay one of them. And we now have a CB against somebody. That's kind of not particularly relevant, I guess, since we're not planning on going to war too much. But we are doing pretty well in the manpower front. We definitely want to be expanding down to the south. Mogadishu is a good target. They're allied with Mara and Malindi. Huh. What about Hobyo? They're allied with Mombasa. We should still have a truce with them. Yeah, for another 11 years. Mogadishu would be a decent target. We'll go ahead and improve relations with them. They also might potentially be willing to accept vassalization eventually. They are outraged at us because of our aggressive expansion right now, so that's not going to be a thing immediately, but that's another option we can potentially look at. It's just a diplomatic vassalization. 25,000 troops, that's... I did not look at that. That's more troops than I thought it would be. Huh. 14,000 men. And 8 cavalry. He has way too many cavalry in that army. He's not going to get good flanking range. His combat width will be slightly wider than ours. And he does have slightly more cannons in the back line. We'll have to see how this goes. We have a much better leader, though. If we can get there, but we can't. I was going to say if we can get there before we actually lose this siege, we could be the defender. Unfortunately, that is not to be. Okay, we'll go ahead and leave these guys here. Let's just keep an eye on these guys for now. We will be wanting to... Oh, okay. Jaffna is going to attack Vanad. That's fine. We'll want to keep an eye on these guys. When they move, we'll want to fight them. Our merchants are unhappy, as expected. Lose 50 dip power, and they lose 10 loyalty, or lose a mercantilism. We'll lose the mercantilism. We're not gaining that much from it. They're moving into Hobyo. We're going to go ahead and let them lock in. There we go. And we will see about getting there. 27 February. Okay. They'll beat us there, but because they're sieging, we should be the defender. And with any luck, our better composition and better general will win the day. Yeah, looks like this is going okay. We're losing a lot of men, but it's kind of to be expected. Yeah, we won that. And we did wipe them. Excellent. We'll go siege this back. We're going to be losing money for a while we replenish our troops. That'll only take like 10 months tops. We'll siege this back, and then once that's done, we'll just head right back up to Mocha. Since we're not particularly interested in going to war immediately. Truce with Kilwa's over. That could be useful. We are so far in debt, though. It's not even funny. We also do have some more separatists coming up. Independence for Mara. So these guys absolutely do need to come up here. And then the next one would be independence for Hadramut. Okay. Kathiri and Seer. Which is also right up here. Okay. Well, we'll just keep rebel busting for a while. Get all that under control. We have a good army for rebel busting. Also, I don't know why Medri Bari has not dealt with this yet. Let's go help them, actually. Actually, we can't. We don't have military access. How close are they to actually allowing us to vassalize them? Pretty close. We just up our military power and economic base, and they'd probably accept it. We do need to go deal with these guys, since they just popped. They're going to get the siege on that, so we'll get some separatism here. It's not the end of the world. And we should very easily be able to win this fight. How many troops are going to be spawning here? 11k as well? That's fine. That is just fine. Okay, so we just go ahead and walk right in. They're not moving at all. We have actually overkill here. Let's go ahead and go down to 10,000. Like that. That way we match their combat width, we have flanking cavalry, and we have all of our cannons. These guys will continue going, these guys will just chill. Don't need them to take any damage, everything else is overkill. There we go. These guys can actually, well, actually they can stay right where they are, or come into Makala. Makala is probably better. Where will these rebels pop? They will pop in Shahir. Okay. So we definitely need to be in position to deal with those. We'll march these guys straight through there. That may delay them a month. That's just fine. Yeah. It's completely fine. We can do our naval doctrine, but we're not going to. There we go. Our rebel busting is going reasonably well. We do have a Den here who is potentially a good target. They're not allied with anybody. They were forcibly released from Yemen. We can go ahead and call back our diplomat that's improving relations in Beja, since we're not going to annex them anytime soon. Also, I just noticed our annexation of Lorsengali is actually progressing now, so that's good. And we will go ahead and build a spy network in Aden, just as a potential option. We're not going to go to war with them immediately. We do have a lot of aggressive expansion up in this area. People are pretty upset about that. Be much more likely to go to war with Mogadishu. It's a little further away. And we can invest in Miltech 10, so we'll go ahead and do that. Pike and shot formations proved a major threat to medieval knights. The initial response was heavier armor to counter the gunpowder weapons, but this slowed down cavalry, reducing their shock power. Raiders were usually armed with 2 pistols and a sword, allowing them to either shoot or charge depending on the opposition they faced. So we get new cannons, we get new horsemen, and we also get a maneuver value increase of 25%. That will be very, very handy. So we'll go ahead and go up to, let's see, let's go for the Abyssinian Barded Cavalry. I like offensive. I like walking into things, not having them walk into me so much. And let's also go for the... no shock pip here, offensive or defensive. 1 offensive pip in each. 1 offensive here and here. So the only difference here is the morale moves to the shock pip. Well, the cannons aren't really going to be fighting so much unless our front line falters. So I think having the shock pip is better. Let's go for the culverin. There we go. And now we're mostly just waiting for this to pop. Funge is also going to pop very soon. Watch that pop first. Most likely, actually. We're going to go ahead and start moving over this way. They may pop simultaneously, in which case we may decide to go for some sort of an army split. Not sure. Our army's kind of pulled a little bit thin with these rebels right now. This is going to be the larger army over here in Funge. So I think we'll deal with that first. The Hadramut Separatists, they're not going to get too much done over there because they have to siege this fort in order to actually break the country. So I think the Funge Separatists are the biggest threat, so we'll go deal with them first. They haven't even popped yet. Our corruption is actually growing. That's no good at all. We'll go ahead and do that. We're losing a little bit of money doing that, but it should be theoretically okay-ish. Once we get Warsangali annexed, we should be gaining money again. There's the Funge Separatists. Excellent. Let's see, they do have some slaves and some incense. Mostly incense. Okay, we'll go ahead and just walk in here, since they're apparently right here. Don't know if we'll get there in time. The Pilgrims of Zayla. Zayla has recently seen many a lost soul seeking guidance at the monastery in the area. In fact, the region is becoming quite popular for people looking for repentance and absolution in the ways of St. Anthony. The desert caves are well suited for the life of a hermit, allowing some of the most devoted Copts to spend years in contemplative solitude. Meanwhile, the population of Zayla take great pride in this piety. Some well-placed words of encouragement could allow us to bolster their self-esteem even further. We could remind them of the virtues of hard work and gain 25 dip power, local production efficiency plus 10% there. Or we could gain 25 military power plus 10% manpower modifier. Well, we just got a military tech, and we're approaching the cap on manpower. So let's go ahead and take the dip power. We're behind time there even further, and we could use the production efficiency for more money. So we'll go ahead and do that. Excellent. So they did manage to get this siege done. But we will just go ahead and defend this. There we go. We'll siege this back. These guys haven't actually popped yet, so that's a bit of good luck. I was expecting them to pop basically simultaneously. They could pop at any time currently, but we did siege this, so we'll go ahead and move these guys back up this way so that they can deal with this rebellion once that does in fact pop. Which will be soon. We have a diplomatic insult CB with Medri Bari, of all things. I mean, we are allied with them. The best option would be to vassalize them. That'll happen eventually. We're going to probably annex Beja up here and then start cracking into the Mamluks before that happens, so... We'll go ahead and recall these guys from Mogadishu. We were apparently improving relations there. Yeah, that's not what I intended. Go ahead and build the spy network. That's more like it. Corruption is one of the most common and frequent pastures. Apparently factors are now pastures. Corruption is one of the most common and frequent pastures of political and economic life, I guess. Never in history has this been more prominent than in these times of feudal regimes. Why did I have such a hard time reading this event? I don't get it. We could lose a stability, or we could gain a corruption. Well, that sucks. Our biggest problem right now is one of finances and corruption. This further delays that. I think we have to lose the stability and then just boost back up with 152 admin power. It really sucks. I did not want to do that. But I guess it is what it is. We have unbalanced research going on. That's also hurting our corruption, but we're trying to get that caught up. How are we doing on the great powers anyway? Oh, we've fallen down to 8th. Denmark is now ahead of us. Primarily because of colonialism. We are, I believe, nowhere near embracing colonialism. Let's hop over into here and check. Yeah, we don't even see any colonialism. So that's exciting. Well, speaking of exciting, this has been an action-packed episode. However, I do believe I'm going to go ahead and put a cut in here. We got very little done other than some rebel busting and consolidation. We did manage to adopt an institution and get ourselves some tech, but I do believe I'm going to go ahead and take a break here, and I will see you all next time.